Hi, and welcome to my channel where we talk about all things lipedema. So today I have the famous Zoe. Hi, Zoe.
Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate your time. We thought we would talk a bit about fashion and then a bit about positivity because they are two things that remind me of you, basically. So, yes, we'll start with the fashion side. When I started following you, I noticed that you've got a really good sense of style. You're going to go all bashful now. I know that you are. But you've got a really good sense of style, confidence, and I think a lot of people want to aspire to that. Obviously, having a lipedema can affect your self esteem, and that can affect what you're wearing. So yeah, I thought we'd start with that.
Yeah. I kind of like, I don't know, I think it is definitely a bit of like a progress in the sense of with the fashion side and also the positivity side of them both coming together in a sense of eventually being like, do you know, I can wear whatever I want and it doesn't matter that I don't look like maybe all these people that we've been made to think how a woman's body should look kind of thing.
Yeah.
But also what is happening is fashion is becoming more accessible in terms of fitting, in terms of sizes. So I think that does help quite a bit. Obviously, it's still not there. There's a very big thing at the moment about fast fashion and being plus size because a lot of the fast fashion, it's easier to get that because a lot of other brands won't do it. So that's quite a big thing at the moment as well.
It's a really great point, that, actually, because obviously we're all trying to be more conscious and stuff, but I think there's a difference between doing these Sheen hauls when you're, well, I'm not even going to say when whatever size you are. There's a difference between doing Sheen hauls where you're spending £200-300 to being somebody who is a size 26 and you literally can't go to the high street and get the clothes that you want. And
My, sorry, my favourite thing is when, like, New Look used to be so bad for it. Like, I love now, New Look seem to be totally, they've seemed like came up again and, like, they are doing really well, I think, on the fashion side of things. But one of my favourite memories, when you'd go into New Look and you'd have to go to the wall of shame
oh, I know,
in the corner.
I know.
It'd be dark and dingy and be about white as a plus size clothing right next to like the toilets and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Or in my other one, it was upstairs. Nothing else upstairs, but with shoes and plus size clothing. And you'd be like, God's
And it was so ugly, like flowers. Like, I like flowers clearly, but it's like just ugly. No wonder the local New Look to me doesn't have a plus size section anymore. You have to buy online, and it's like
yeah,
no
yeah. I
wonder.
don't think. I think it might only be like Asda, and I think H&M and River Island. Um, River Island, I'm unsure how much they stock in store. I know whenever I step into River Island, I'm always like, people look at me and going, she's here for the purses.
Oh.
Oh, look, these purses.
Yeah, well, that's it. I don't even go in there anymore. I'm just like, no, it's not for me. It's not my place.
Obviously, shopping online.
Yeah.
Shopping online, I like now. But I have had a lot of people saying that H&M is really good now as well for plus size fashion. But also, it's not even necessarily for plus size because obviously women, well, people with lipedema might be stage one or like a smaller stage, will still have that self consciousness about their body. They might not want to wear shorts in summer because maybe they have lipedema on the legs. So it doesn't just, obviously, yes, it affects the later stages, but it affects every single stage of lipedema. And it also affects, I say, just affects everyone in general. Everyone's got something about them that they're always a bit conscious about. But being able to get over, like, not get over that, but step over that or find something you feel comfortable in can really help you and how you feel for the day, really.
That's a great point, actually. I've got something written down where I was going to ask if you have any tips for clothing that people would find uncomfortable. So, for example, I have tried sleeves that have got elastic on them. They're so painful. I found it so painful. Same with boots. And I think that when you say that it affects all stages, I think this is something that will affect people. And I think this is where it's bad to say this, but where fast fashion and cheap clothing actually benefits people with lipedema, because it's elasticated, it's thin, it's not fitted, and it's not made for a specific body type. And I think,
absolutely. Like, this is from Shein, and this is like, it's a nice material. I know sometimes from Shein you can get it where it's a bit hit and miss on the material side, but this one's a nice material. But this has got the elasticated arms, and you can see, like, literally.
Oh yeah, that's
so dug in here on me. But I'll wear it there, and then it'll slowly slide down, and it will dig in. It's quite painful, but I kind of just. I don't know, I kind of just don't realise.
Yeah, that's good that you don't realise.
Yeah, I think it's that thing as well with lipedema, isn't it, where some people's pain, horrific, really bad. Some people's pain, really bad, but they kind of like, they're that used to it, they don't realise they're in that pain. Or you've got it where they're just kind of like, they haven't realised how they've adapted.
Yeah.
To things, and that also as well goes into clothes. You can get people who, as their lipedema is progressing, or say as their body shape might be changing, they become uncomfortable in themselves, and it is really hard. I also find, like, with clothes, being able to express yourself is a really big thing. But not necessarily just with clothes. Like, being able to do, like, I, for example, can't do makeup. Like, I cannot do it. Your eyes look beautiful right now.
Thank you.
Literally. All I know I do is a bit of eyebrow and mascara and a bit of eyeshadow or whatever.
Yeah.
And hair. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but I can't do my hair either.
Your hair looks amazing. Like, my hair, I've lost a lot of it from everything that happened. So I've got, like, layers to there. And it's so soft and thin, so I can't get that, like, messy look. It's just smooth, and I know that's something not to complain about, but yeah, I have to really mess it up now.
No, but, like, I find some people might doing the makeup might make them feel better. Hair might make them feel a bit more positive. Bit of jewellery, a bit of, like, even in the head, like a hair, like, do you like the type of hairband, accessory, bracelet if they haven't got the cuffs on the hands, they can, on the wrist, they can wear the bracelets, rings, obviously, like, your wide fingers, big fingers, you can get Etsy is really good for adjustable rings, but also doing them, like, up to a size Z+2, and not that expensive either. So I have, like, it's went under the bed, it's missing, an anxiety ring. It's a spinning ring that I put on my thumb. And that's, like, obviously my thumb's like this.
Yeah.
So, like, it's like a size Z that I need to get. And it's so useful knowing that I can get it off Etsy if I need it. Necklaces, belts.
Oh, don't. I was thinking about belts earlier for some reason. I was driving and I was thinking about belts. Oh, yeah, I know.
With belts, I mean, a lot of people with lipedema will have an hourglass figure, but that isn't always the case. A lot of them can have an athletic body shape. You know, ages ago it was said that people with lipedema were pear-shaped, whereas now more people are coming out where it doesn't always fall like that. They can be straight up and straight down but have big thighs, or straight up, straight down, have thick lower legs. So before, well, what I'm used to, because of my body shape and type, is I live for a belt wrapped around my flipping dress, my waist. I like anything, a long skirt, belt around my waist, vest up tucked in. Any dresses that are too big for me, wrap a belt around it, that solves the problem. And I've got to the point now where, like, on ASOS, I find ASOS belts are really good. I'm getting, like, unnecessary belts. Like, I got a UV one that glows in the dark, and I'm like, I'm never going to need that, but
I want it.
you never know when I might need it.
I think a lot of people with lipedema tend to be quite alternative, quirky, like really creative with their style. And I wonder if it is connected to having to adapt to your body.
Yeah, I know, like, it might be that thing as well where, like, I know there's a lot of people with lipedema who make their own clothes. They've learned how to make their own clothes, especially trousers, or they've adapted things for them. But also, I feel like sometimes there's two different ends. There's the people with lipedema who want to hide away, and that was me, like, probably 6-7 years ago, all in black. I would wear layer after layer after layer because I just didn't want to be seen. Like, I wanted to hide away. I'd be sweating, with, like, a long sleeve thing on, a cardigan on. I used to have really long hair, and it was really thick hair, but I'd never wear it down because I was convinced how it looked on my shoulders made me look even wider than what I was. So I'd have my hair up, like, just so messy, even messier than it is now. I'd be in, like, loads of layers, leggings, because I didn't know about lipedema, and I didn't know about, like, compressions and things like that. And I didn't want to be seen. And I felt being in black and hiding away, avoiding stripes, because we were always told that stripes make you look bigger. Because this is the other thing, the worst thing that someone can be in life, apparently, is fat.
That's what you're brought up to think.
It is the worst thing someone can be. And I think understanding that actually that isn't the case, and there's much more worse people out there than if you just try and extra weight. Like, you've got lipedema, you've got these big legs, you've big bum, these big arms. And once I started to realise that, I think I stopped wearing the cardigan. So I'd still wear like long sleeved, like, dresses, but I stopped wearing the cardigan. And then I'd eventually maybe find jeans, and I'd wear jeans and a top, but it'd still be quite a long top. And it was a very, very, like, gradual, like, progression, I think, of reaching out to different clothes. Also, I find when you look at clothes, I'd be like, oh, I wouldn't wear that, wouldn't wear that, wouldn't wear that. But then I'd order them and I'd put them on, like, oh, actually, they look totally different, like, on when on the body. And also then looking through other things and knowing what I can add to it, what I could maybe hair up, hair down. And, like, with hair, actually, in fact, once I started to feel a lot more confident, I got all my hair chopped off dead short, because I was like, no, that's my safety blanket, and I need it gone because it's my safety, same as my cardigan's my safety, like, cardigan safety, my hair was my safety. I was like, I need it chopped off because I can't be doing this anymore because I'm hiding away, and I don't want to be hiding away, because you don't need to be, like, there's that saying, isn't there, where you deserve to take up space and you deserve to be here regardless of how you look, regardless of your body, regardless of what you're wearing, everything like that. You deserve to be here, you deserve to take up space. And knowing that and having that, like, attitude really has helped me in a lot of decisions that I've made. Even to the point of, and I know, like, this is, like, going off track a bit, but when I've done a shoot before and I go to London, they pay for my train ticket or whatever, I say to them, I'm like, I need to be in a bigger size seat because how cramped up my knees are. And before I'd be like, oh my days, I'm mortified to have to say something like that. And now I'm like, why not be, like, it'll help any awkwardness, it'll help any embarrassment. It makes the journey a lot more easier, it stops me being as anxious. And honestly, incredible. And I was just like, do you know, even though I felt embarrassed to start with having to mention this, again, lipedema isn't our fault. So why should we be embarrassed about
asking for accommodations and
asking for accessibility for ourselves and to make things a bit easier? But that goes back into the workings of our heads, where it's like we should be ashamed because we're bigger,
Yeah.
fat. Going back to obviously where you can go into diet culture and everything like that, and go into a whole different subject of things. And it's like you feel like you've got to apologise for existing, or even just being there, and not being locked away in a cupboard somewhere, saying I'm sorry that I'm bigger.
Yeah, it's true. It's like I think I'm like you now. I'm quite comfortable with myself. I always think to myself, I could wear black and hide my arms, but people still know that I'm big, and it doesn't matter. I want to enjoy dressing and putting colours on and patterns. So I know not everybody's in that position, and I'm lucky to be in that position, but I still have those moments, like when I travelled to Germany recently on the plane, and there was a guy sat next to me, and I felt like I had to apologise for myself. And then I said to myself, no, I've paid the same as him. I shouldn't have to apologise for existing, apologise for wanting to be comfortable. Like, why should we sacrifice our comfort for other people?
Honestly, it is that exactly, and I think it all goes hand in hand really with how you feel about yourself. I am a really big believer in doing my affirmations on a morning, and I know a lot of people might not. A lot of people might go like, yeah, well, how's saying that gonna stop me from hating what I see in the mirror? And that is totally understandable. But for me, doing these affirmations where it's just like, I'll do my, like, say my cleanser, my toner, and I'll be saying like, I don't know, it's just like, I listen to one on Spotify and I repeat it as I do it. And it's like, I am powerful, I am worthy, I am confident, I am beautiful. All of these things. And like, again, it goes back to what you ingrained to when you're younger, like the whole I am beautiful thing. Like if someone says to you, oh, you look beautiful today, what would you say back?
I always go, oh, I've washed my hair, or oh, I've got makeup on.
Because you feel that if you say, oh, thank you, you're being like, yeah, I am beautiful.
Yeah,
I am. And you're like, and you feel like, oh, I'm being big-headed, or I'm being confident, or I'm cocky. And it's not. It's literally seeing your worth. And like, I mean, I still do. Like, I went to work the other day and people are like, oh, you look sun-kissed. And I'm like, oh. And like, I go dead red and I'm like, I like pull up on your face.
Yeah.
But like, it's just, it's hard accepting how you look and being happy with how you look. And they're two very different things as well. Like, I accept how I look. I'm not happy every day with how I look. Like, the worst thing for me is where I will wake one morning, I am feeling good. I put on like an outfit and I'm like, yes, I've got the belt, I love clashing prints as well, so I will love
You're really
like,
good at that. You're so good at that. Yeah. I think I'm a bit more bold because I put two clashing prints. I'm like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it.
No, so like the clashing the prints, doing whatever, and I'll be walking and I'm like, yeah, I feel okay. And then I'll either see myself in a shop window or ahead of myself in a shop window, and I'm just like, oh,
I know I have the same.
No. And I do it because when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm looking from like here, and I'm seeing what I can see. When I look in like a shop window, I'm seeing, because I'm moving as well, I'm seeing how bad like my gait is when I'm walking, how my legs are like, obviously, like this far apart, like my lower legs. Totally different if I'll beat my calves out, my thighs out. And that knocks me back a bit every time. And it's learning to not sit and dwell in that bit and just be like, right, okay, that wasn't very, did not appreciate seeing that. But who looks at me from that angle? Like, it's that kind of thing. And it is hard.
Well, I try and see it. I'm like you. Most of the time, I'm not worried about how I look anymore, which is amazing. But sometimes you catch yourself, you're like, oh, right, yeah, I've imagined a different version of myself in that top or something. But then I say to myself, I've got a choice now. I either dwell on it and think about it, and there's literally nothing I can do to change how my face looks, my body looks, or I can just go, I looked a bit ugly then, never mind, let's crack on. And it's such a hard thing to say. Like, that sounds so simple, and it isn't, but you have
But
to
also,
be brutal and say, yeah.
As you said there, I look a bit ugly. You would not, if your friend looked how you did, you would never say to them, oh, yeah, you had a bit of an ugly moment there.
Yeah.
Or you wouldn't, like, your version of ugly might be totally different to someone else's version of ugly.
Yeah.
So, and that's a big thing I think to look at as well. How you talk to yourself. Would you talk like that to people that you love?
No.
Like, it's so hard because we're always taught to be kind to other people, but we're never taught to be kind to ourselves.
I was going to say, that's why those mantras that you say, like, are so important, because if you think we've had a lifetime of talking to ourselves in a negative way, that works. That's worked for me. I actually believed all those things that I've told myself, that I'm not worthy, I'm too big, I don't look right, my nose is too big.
Yeah.
But those mantras will stick, and you need something. You need a security blanket. My security blanket used to be my fringe, and I was like, I got rid of it. And you just have to expose yourself to the world, and it's awful. And I also say to myself, there's always going to be somebody that's going to say something. I think if you just accept things and own it, if you just own things, I'm fat, I need a bigger seat, I like. People can't upset you then if you own it.
No, and that's it, I think, as well. Like, how you saying there that, like, everyone's going to have an opinion. And the thing is, if you're walking down the street and someone looks at you and you're like, okay, they're not going to then go home and go, I seen this girl today, she had this. They're going to look at you and forget about you for 5 seconds. Because when you walk down the street, how many people do you remember that you've seen and that you've looked at? And you might see someone with really, like, funky hair, and the people you're going to remember are going to be the people that you like, looks cool as.
Yeah,
looks really good. You don't want to remember the people where you're like, oh, because that says more about you. If you're remembering these people that you think, oh God, they didn't look good, that says more about you.
Yeah,
and definitely. If someone's thinking about you and they're going home and talking about you, says more about them. You say owning it, absolutely owning it. Like, I try my hardest to own my legs. Every time's right. I'm like, for me, my thighs, fine. For me, it's my cankles, and that is the bit that I struggle with every time. My cuffs on my wrist, could do without these, is what it is. But my cankles are the things that really, really get to me.
Yeah.
If I didn't have them, I'd probably wear, like, wide leg jeans. I'd love to wear, is it like mom jeans? I'd love to wear them. Because I've kind of dealt with, like, my like tummy now. Do you know, like, where everyone's like, oh no, God forbid someone sees I've got a stomach. I kind of dealt with that now. Like, if I'm wearing something you can see that, I'm like, is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's my ankles, and I would just love to just not have them. And I feel like without them, this is obviously, like, look-wise, pain-wise, I'd get rid of it all.
Well, yeah. Let's start at that. We'll not have it, thanks.
Look-wise, I would just love to get rid of them, because then I feel that would open up a lot more that I could wear. And yeah, it is so hard. Also shoes.
Yeah.
Like, my trainers, I've had my trainers for 13 years. They've been a Magaluf with me. They've been everywhere with me. They have, like, travelled the world more than me, probably. I'm just like, I really need to get myself some new trainers. But then, like, I'll go into, like, a trainer shop, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like, because you don't know if, like, the tongue's gonna, like, rub on my cankle. I don't know if I'm like, oh God, do I need men's shoes? I don't want to ask this person because I get even bad mark. And I just overthink things so much. So that is, like, my new goal for this year, is to finally buy myself some new trainers.
Oh, that's such a nice thing to, like, express, because yeah, there'll be so many people watching that'll have something like that, and it's so good of you to just be honest and vulnerable, because you can't love yourself all the time. You can't.
You can look in the mirror, right? I will honestly, for me, still, I will always hammer this in. And I don't know if it'll apply for everyone, but I will always hammer this in. Lingerie or something you feel good in, wear it, stand in front of a mirror, sack anyone else. There doesn't need to be anyone else in the room. You don't need to do it for your partner. You don't need to do it for anyone. You need to do it for you. And stand there and just feel good and feel like just a goddess. Like, I know Snag do really good kind of lingerie for as well. Like the thicker thighs, bigger stomachs, bigger bums. They've got ones where I went to London before and they tried one on me, and it was like this full body thing of just like, I don't know, just like straps everywhere. And like when it comes to my stomach, when it comes to my thighs, there was like these two things. And I looked at myself, and the first time ever I looked in the mirror and I was wearing it, and I was like, wow. I was like, I look amazing. And it's the first ever time that I've probably seen myself in something like just anything, and straight away I thought like,
That's so good.
You look good. And yeah. And I was like, wow. And I just think if you're having a bad day with how you look, if you can just find something, it doesn't have to be that, finding something that can just lift you that a little bit can really, really help. Social media is so good for awareness, for help, for everything. It is really good, but it is so toxic as well.
Yeah.
So toxic. And you need to be able to pull yourself away from that and know that people aren't having the best day of their lives when they're posting what you think is like, and you're like, oh God, she's got this, how is she looking like this, or how's he looking like that? When really they could be in agony behind like their pictures, or could have took them. I mean, I know for me, when I was like smaller body wise, I'd have 500 odd pictures in the same thing. Hated myself. I picked myself apart, all that stuff. And then once I've learned to embrace my body more and understand my body more, now I'll take about 5 pictures. I'm like, yeah, that'll do. Yeah. I know this is going quite into like a weight size thing, like a size thing, but I was never happy at my smaller weight, like at my smaller weight. I was never happy. And then over lockdown, when I gained weight back, I realised I was like, oh, I was never happy then, and I'm not happy now. It's all in my head, and I need to be happy in here rather than thinking that I need to be smaller to be happy. Yeah. And that was like massive for me, like so massive. And I think also understanding that you can do things. I know some people, like for example, exercising, some people aren't able to because they're obviously the mobility's not the greatest, aren't able to. But there is ones, like I know there's people that do the like the armchair exercises.
Yes, yeah.
And there's things like that. But it must be so hard for people that are at different stages, where they'll compare to other stages and the need to focus on them, what they can do, rather than what they can't do. That can be anything to do with like the clothes, it can be do with life, movement, everything. Yeah. And it's really important to focus on what you can do.
For this next bit, I thought I'll ask you just a couple of little questions. Hopefully you can give some great tips to people. So first little question is, how do you dress your compression garments? Have you got like a go-to outfit or style?
So I wear my compression garments pretty much every day. So I will wear swing dresses, are a big one for me. Maxi dresses, big one for me. I have some trousers as well, where they're like, they're meant to be wide-legged on someone without lipedema, but on me, they're a bit nice.
Oh, well, as long as they fit and comfy.
So I'll wear them with like a top tucked in. Now for me, I will always wear compressions pretty much, so they're just part of it, if that makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just like, maxi dresses. There's times where I get a bit bored and I'm like, oh, I could wear this or that. And I just try to find a way to be able to do it still. So I find pliss trousers really good. So you can wear compressions under them, and the material that you wear over them won't like stick.
Yeah.
The pliss kind of floats about. But yeah, I just tend to wear anything with my compressions, and it is a bit of a nightmare sometimes. Sometimes I will be like, I can't bother with this, but anything really. Tends to be more dresses, maxi dresses, swing dresses, skater dresses, anything like that. Anything I can put a belt around.
Yeah. Do you have any tips for covering arms?
Honestly, I am still like that. So if I go out in public, my arms, I can't. If I'm in the garden or I'm around people that I'm comfortable with, I have my arms out. So what I tend to do is I'll either be wearing a dress like this, where it just covers your arms. Obviously, like we said, this, I mean, you can see it's marked my arm again. Or I'll get like a dress that doesn't have arms and wear like a thin shirt over it. I tend to go for like thin, shirty kind of beachy things. Things that you look for where they're meant for the beach.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, wearing that to the town. Things like that. I also find 3/4 sleeves, not bad. The top of my arms I don't like, but I will compromise where my forearms, I'm like, do you know what? I'm going to have them out. I can't do the full, I'm like, sack it, compromise, forearms are out, tops of the arms aren't. I'd love to be able to say, like, yeah, get your arms out, but I'm totally there as well. I still feel I also feel very wide with my arm. Like, I'm like, oh, and especially if, like, I'm having, like, my period or I'm ovulating, or it's hot outside, my arms will swell more. But yeah, I just find dresses that tend to be, I don't like them when they're here.
Yeah.
I like them when they go past the elbow. Or another thing I'll do is I will get tops that are a size bigger, so the arms are longer, tuck that top in or whatever, and you've still got the nice air on the arms.
Right, well, we might as well wrap it up there. So thank you so much for your time. Honestly, it's been such a nice chat. Like you said, you've started from a place where a lot of people probably be now, which is insecure, self-conscious, and you've got past that. So hopefully you'll be inspiring people.
I just hope everyone knows that lipedema isn't their fault. And like I said, it's important to be kind to yourself, because you listen to your voice the most, you talk to yourself the most, and you need to say more positive things than negative things.
Yeah. You need to go and follow Zoe on Instagram. I'll let you do your Instagram name so I don't mess it up, but I will do it on the screen as well.
Thick thighs, thick thighs, and I think there's a full stop and then positive vibes.
I'll put it on the screen. I didn't want to get it wrong.
I got it wrong.
Yeah, that's fine. You can get it wrong. But yes, thanks so much.
Thanks for asking me as well.
Yeah, no problem. Honestly, it's been great. Thanks again to Zoe for joining me today. To connect with me on Instagram, my username is @fat_bottom_Amy. So that's all for today, and I hope you'll join me on the next video. Bye.